Absolutely. And I know I had the pleasure of meeting a few of you virtually yesterday, so it's nice to meet you. I am Brooke Signs. I'm newer to the Remax Executive brokerage here. So I'm born and raised in the West Michigan area from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I lived here in Cornelius actually back in 2003 and lived here for about 5 years and just fell in love with the area. And I don't know if it's unfortunately or fortunately, but I met my husband back in Michigan. And so he pulled me back. And so we got married there and had a couple kids. And I've been, I think for some of you that heard the story yesterday, I apologize to reiterate, but so I've been working on him ever since our first date to get back to the Charlotte area. And I finally won. So last October 1st, we made the move back here. And I just love this area. So I'm excited to be with Remax Executive. I still kept my team in West Michigan. I just hit my 5-year mark being in the business with Remax this past January. I've always been with Remax and just love the brand awareness that that brings for all of us. I have been been in the Workman coaching program. So after my first year in the business, I joined Workman and hired them as my coach. And about a year after that, I became a coach myself. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about kind of why we're doing this program, as Hadi asked, and then also what the program entails, go a little bit more in detail as to what we're going to cover, what the coaching has helped me accomplish in my business, and so on. So before I get started, are there any questions that anyone has maybe from what we discussed yesterday or any questions to start off at all? Otherwise, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, let me quickly bring up, so I put together just a little, not really presentation, but more intro into what this is going to entail. So it is RAMP Live, which is Rising Agent Mastery Program. Here's a little more information about myself and that I have the team here in the Charlotte area and also in West Michigan, and now a coach and trainer for Workman Success as well. And so that's part of where this came about is I think where Hadi was just saying that he and Karush were looking into working with Workman and didn't have someone to train. So I didn't know necessarily that that would be me, but everything has worked out for me to be able to facilitate this. And I'm super excited because I'm super passionate about Workman success and what I've been able to accomplish in my business. And a huge amount of it I attribute to the Workman tools and systems and processes. So why Workman success? And I covered a little bit about this, but I'm big that having a coach or having that accountability partner in your business is hugely impactful for your business. And whether it's Jared James, Brian Buffini, Mike Ferry, I mean, there are a ton of great coaches out there. I loved Workman for several different reasons. The fact that they had the behind the scenes systems and processes that I could almost just plug into and start working from right from the beginning. And then also because of the coaching and the accountability and the systems and training that they had to offer. So I went from an individual agent to having 2 teams, crazily over 800 miles apart, but have a total of 8 sales partners, including myself, and 4 admin. So it made it really simple when making this change to be able to duplicate the systems of what I already have working in the West Michigan area to bring that to Charlotte. So I was blessed to be super busy my first year in the business. I sold 30 houses my first year, 55 my second year, and we've done as a team over 100 each year thereafter. But as I said, it's my 5-year anniversary with Remax this past January. So the first year I hit 100% club, and the second year was platinum club. And then every year thereafter, I've been chairman's level with RE/MAX, for those of you that know what those different levels mean. So very blessed to have a great business so far and have great success. I have systems for everything, and that's part of what I love about Workman is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just use what is already proven to be successful. And that includes job descriptions for hiring, ensuring the right people are in the right seats, like Jim Collins' book, and just really, as I said, having everything behind the scenes and the training for anything and everything as well. So the purpose of RAMP stands for Rising Agent Mastery Program. And it really, for lack of a better term, it focuses on ramping up your business. So taking you from wherever you are right now. And I've had questions, is this for an individual agent? Is it for a team? And really it's for both. So you can put this to work for you and your business immediately from day one, and you can ramp up your business in whatever that looks like for you. So if you are an individual agent and you're looking to start a team, we can kind of ramp you up on that. If you have a team and you want to plug your sales partners or your team members into this program, that's fantastic too, because we all kind of have our own businesses within this wonderful umbrella of RE/MAX. You can, this program will help you create systems and processes. I always say, I'm self-proclaimed OCD, so I love checklists and kind of systems for everything. But if you're not like that, this is a great way to just, as I said, plug into the systems and processes that Workman already has ready to go and just start using them right from day one. We talk about leading with revenue in your business. And so there are, and I'll kind of go into a little bit more of objectives of the course and what the course is going to cover. But a huge part of it is leading with revenue. And then also the fun one, the best one is to work on creating and maintaining a work-life balance and really live a life by design. And that's what I've been able to do, and just am blessed to have found the Workman system. So I can find those right team members that are a good fit, and then we can really work together towards that one, that unified goal, and all be successful while going and working towards that goal to increase our business and be able to work off of one another to maintain that work-life balance, and how we're going to work towards doing that together. Any questions that we have so far before I kind of get into, I'm not going to go too in depth into the course calendar, but just want to show a little bit more about the objectives and what we'll cover. I don't see anything in the chat. Any questions, anyone? I think we're good so far. Okay, so for this course, there is a very specific course calendar. And so we'll be able to tell you day one, we're going to do this, or class one, I'll say. Class two, we're going to do this. So there's a very specific course calendar and also syllabus that we'll go off of. There's a weekly focus that is specific to what our training is. So we will talk about the presenters as part of RAMP. We'll have homework in between each class, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. And the greatest thing of all that I'll get into as well in a few minutes is the accountability portion. So having that accountability partner or mentor, if you will, to be able to partner up within this class. And I love the fact that with doing this virtually, because a lot of times these classes are live and in person. And so with us being able to do this virtually right now, I think we have an added benefit here at RE/MAX Executive, that I'm able to meet people like Rosalind and meet Aaron and meet Nora and everyone from the different offices. We have this fantastic culture, and a lot of us work well together with those in our individual offices, but how great to be able to meet and work with and team up with agents in all of our offices across the Carolinas. So I'm pretty excited to continue to even meet those of you that I haven't met yet. If you do have any questions at all as we're going through, feel free to pipe up and ask. So I'm going to go through some of the topics and things that we're going to be talking about in just a minute, and I want to be very clear on the expectations. And we have talked a little bit about it too, as far as the days and times, and I'll just reiterate that a second. So class will run every Thursday starting May 28th, and will run from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It'll run for 13 weeks. I do have the last slide kind of talks about, I'd love to kick it off with us just getting to know each other a little bit with a happy hour next Wednesday prior to the start of our Thursday class. So if nothing else, that's a great excuse of why to join and come. So the expectations in the class. So you're going to have assigned videos that you'll watch ahead of time. So we are all prepared and can discuss it during the class together. You want to come to class prepared with the necessary materials, complete all homework, and you'll receive a participant workbook. So as soon as you sign up, I believe within 24 hours, there's a workbook that's shipped to whatever address you enter in the sign up process. So if that's your home address, it's shipped right to your home, and that's your participant workbook to use. If you don't have one in time for the class to get started, I'll send you an electronic copy. So don't worry, you can still hop on with us and get started before you have that. We want everyone to be open-minded, engage in the process, be ready to be an active participant, not a sideline observer. So we are limiting the class to only 50 people, and that will ensure that we're all able to really get to know one another and work together and have the class be interactive, where we can not only, don't be prepared to listen to me talk for an hour and a half for 13 weeks. We're all going to be able to share and interact together. And again, I think that helps us get to know one another. So make sure that you show up. This 13 weeks, I would highly recommend that you mark it off on your calendar and you hold that date and time and plan to show up for every class and choose personal accountability. And the most important thing is we want to make sure to have fun. Some of the things that we'll be covering. So this is, if any of you saw Verl's training session that he did for us at RE/MAX Executive when he announced that they were going to, with Hadi and Karush, we were able to have access to the training center. I'm a coaching client of Workman Success, so I pay a lot of money every month to have a coach myself and to have access to the training platform and these materials. And everyone at RE/MAX Executive, y'all have them for free until the end of May. So then jumping on board to do the ramp live will ensure that you have them longer as well and throughout the course of the class. So we'll go through the daily success habits tracker and how to use and really ensure that you're hitting the magic number, which is 61 points each day, and to ensure that you are not doing what Verl refers to as fake work, that we are actually doing money-making activities each day, not just managing the current transactions that we have going on or sitting on Facebook all day. We'll also focus on creating your top 50. So I love the whole idea of the top 50, and I went in depth a little bit with the Lake offices on this, but it's 50 people that you think will give you at least one referral a year. And you should touch them each month. You should reach out to them each month, and you're going to track them in a top 50 tracker, which for those of you that are competitive, it will monitor what your percentage ratio is on whether or not you've hit 100% and touched all of your top 50 for that month. And then it'll calculate it and pull it out for the whole year too. So you're getting graded the whole time that you're going through that. The top 50 is, I love it because it's free. All you have to do is create a list of 50 people that you either already know, like, and trust, and they know, like, and trust you, or you want to get to know better. And so that's something else that is exciting, and we'll cover in the class all different ways of how to communicate with these people. And it's not, when we talk about this, it's diving in deeper with these relationships with these people. It's not asking for referrals every time you talk to them. Does that make sense? The My Perfect Week. This is another amazing tool that has, when I talk about work-life balance, this has been a great tool for me in that area. And you're never going to have the perfect week, I realize that, but focusing on maybe what the ideal week would look like and starting off your day saying, okay, this is what my plans entail. And again, you won't find any fake work time in this perfect week. You can have some downtime. I certainly want you to put that in there for yourself. But we start by putting our home or personal time in the calendar first, or in this perfect week first. And then we put in what business activities we're going to do each day. So having this and being able to not be, again, what Verl refers to as a Pop-Tart agent, where your phone rings and someone says, I want to see this house, and you pop up out of your chair and you go and show them the house. So we want to really live that life by design and say, okay, I can show you at this time on this day, or this time on this day. And I realize that we're in a hot market, so different things will change with how far you're able maybe to push off a showing, and we'll cover that and ideas on how to work with that too. Again, stop me if you have any questions at all. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat box as well. We'll talk about the DISC profile and what being a D, an I, an S, or a C is. Here are the overall course objectives. And so, I mean, I could have 10 slides on the overall course objectives. So I want to make sure that everyone knows we are going to cover a lot in this 13 weeks. I want to make sure that everyone gets their money's worth, their time's worth. I mean, this program has had proven success across the country, and we're tracking all the numbers and everything. And agents that are going through this, brokers that are going through it, are closing 2 or more transactions per month with having these systems and processes and starting to create this process behind the scenes and use them in their business. So we're going to create a business plan and goals for your year. We're going to review what your current systems and tools are, and maybe create them for some of you, or hone in a little bit further on them. We're going to help you find an accountability partner. We're going to talk about buyer and seller presentations. And a big part of this right now may be doing them virtually and ensuring that we're all ready to do buyer and seller presentations. Some of us probably have been doing them already, but to get additional experience there. Practice scripts and dialogues and tips for prospecting. Creating amazing client events. So that includes follow-up and asking for referrals and doing different things after the transaction's done, as well as client events and experiences, and then aiming to close 2 more transactions per month from where you already are. And as I said, a huge part of this is accountability. I know Candy already wishes that she didn't, that she and I didn't talk about this. We talked about accountability, and I said, hey, Candy, I'm going to reach out to you and see how you're doing, you know, on hitting your 61 points or all these things. And she hasn't yet sent me an email back that said, Brooke, leave me alone, but I think she wants to. So I think a huge part is just having that. I mean, how great is that to have an accountability partner to ask you, maybe not be in your face every day, but it's just like going to the gym. The first step is showing up. And then once you show up and you do your workout, how great do you feel after the fact? And so it's having this person to be able to say, where are you at in this? You told me your goal was to do 5 buyer appointments, 1 a day this week. How are we doing so far? And if you're not there, how can we do better next week? And then last, as I said, and there's so much more, as I said, I could have a million more slides going through what the class is going to cover. But I tried to condense it so we could answer all questions that everyone has. I did mention, so I'd love to do a pregame meeting and have everyone save the date of Wednesday, May 27th at 4 p.m. to just have a quick virtual happy hour. And so everyone that is signed up for the class will get an invite to this happy hour, and we'll all just be able to grab, bring our own, a beverage of our choice, so coffee, tea, wine, whatever fancy drink you want to bring, and be able to just meet and get to know one another before we start the class the next day. And again, it would be Thursday, May 28th. I know Hadi and Karush have put together some amazing prices for this. It's not a Remax profit center to do this by any means. They're paying a good deal for this to Workman Success to have this platform running for us. And I know Sarah can talk a little bit more if anyone has any questions as to the pricing and how that all works, but I know that they've put together a good plan to have it be not hugely impactful to our pocketbook right now, given the situation. Does anyone have any questions so far? Sarah, Hadi, did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think the thing about it is this particular program, a lot of the people, I guess, in this group are familiar with maybe other coaches like Brian Buffini. And so I know that when I was mentoring and doing the Brian Buffini classes, a lot of people were complaining about the fact that it was 14 weeks long, and a lot of people dropped off. And with anything, accountability is huge. We need to have that, and it is very difficult to make ourselves accountable to ourselves. Some of us are self-motivated and we do stuff. I use an example. I have an app on my phone that tracks my running, and I started a few years ago, and I kind of built it up to the point that now I do an average of 5 miles a day. Now, if I don't do that in the morning, I have to do it sometime. I feel bad if I don't do it. Like yesterday, it was raining all day, and I had to figure out when am I going to run, because it's ridiculous to run out when it's pouring down with rain. And but I figured out there was like an hour when I got home that stopped the rain. It was small drizzling, so I did it then. If I didn't do that, I feel bad. And this is what this program is about. You're going to meet once a week, and I think it's a habit. Now I'm in a habit. If I don't do it, I feel like there's something missing. And I think we all have to we have a lot of bad habits. I do, we all do. We waste a lot of time going through, these emails and text and Facebook and Twitter and all these different things. And the purpose of this, to me, is to make sure that every one of our associates have an opportunity to improve in their business. A lot of you guys know I sold real estate, and I started not knowing a darn thing about real estate back in the 80s. And I've seen a lot of recession. I've seen a lot of downfalls. I've sold houses at 14% interest rates. So for me, the biggest problem, challenges that I saw with a lot of agents, and this is in Charlotte, North Carolina, has been that they couldn't get out of that comfort zone. I'm not any different than any other agent, but my goal was different than most people. I took risk. I took a chance. I was willing to make some adjustment to my daily routine. So yes, I sold real estate like everybody else for 20 years. But then I got to the point that I wanted to help other agents get better. I find I could be a better leader to help other people excel, because some people don't want to take the risk of the investing and going through, oh my gosh, opening up an office, having to deal with 5,000 different agents. It's a lot of headaches, But my passion was different. So when I got to the point that I could start a company, I wanted to take the best of everything and create the Remax Executive. And I thought the brand Remax was the best. I could be HM Properties. I mean, I could be anything. I could be XYZ Real Estate. But I felt like I needed to be something with a brand. And this is pretty much what this is about. I wanted to be with a group of successful people that I could learn from and feed from. So that's where I picked up Remax. And a lot of you know that I was with Untitled before that. And I learned a lot of good things from them. But I think we all know that unless we constantly learn, we're gonna eventually go backward. And I'm still learning. I still read. I still try to find out what everybody else is doing. And I must say, I'm pretty comfortable because I feel like when I look at what everybody else has been doing, I feel like we've done a good job. You know, I hear some of these big real estate firms that were talking about how great they were. They're laying off people right and left, and they're shutting offices down. And we're not. We're actually growing. And if you know, I got into business when everything was closing down. So this is a great opportunity. And we have subsidized this program. Is definitely, like Brooke said, it's not a profit center. And it is something that we feel like agents can use. And as far as teams and individuals, this is just as good for teams and individuals. Brooke cannot teach, cannot be a coach of more than 50 people. I think we already had about 20, 30 people that were trying it for free. And I don't know how many of them are actually staying with it or not staying with it, how many have been keeping up with it. But I highly recommend for the investment, which is, I don't even know, was $195 to start with. I don't know what it is. Can you tell us what it is, Sarah? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was messaging in the chat. So we have early bird pricing right now that is set at $5.99, and then the regular price after early bird ends is $7.49. But when you register, it's only $149 up front. And so what we're doing is, whether you're doing the early bird or the regular, it's $149 up front. And then after the class starts, we give you guys 30 days. Again, just because of all this craziness right now, we know that cash is a little difficult. So after 30 days, after the class starts, we'll take out increments of $150 from your commission checks. And so if you're doing the early bird pricing, it's just 3 more installments of $150 coming out of your commission. And then if you're doing the regular $749 price, it would be 4 installments of $150.
And what I got to tell you guys that we are actually paying every month. We are paying workmen a lot more every month to be able to have access to this program. So again, we know that it's not good for everybody. Everybody might already have, some people might already have a coach and they might be happy with it. But this is for those people that are very disorganized. They really want to grow their business. And just keep in mind, Brooke has been in business only for 5 years, guys. And she has 2 teams, one in Michigan, one here. And she's very successful. So, and she started with this program. So she believes in this program. And when we decided to do this, one of the biggest problem was who's gonna be the trainer. And we really didn't have anybody could work with this. We wanted somebody that knew the system. And I'm really happy to have her agree to do this, because if she wasn't around or she wasn't willing to do it, I don't think we could do it, because you gotta have somebody that knows the system to be able to teach it. Do we have any questions, Sarah, in the chat box?
I think one question, yep, it is all virtual. So, and that's part of the thing too. I think we've all gotten used to having Sarah do our 10 o'clock webinars each day. And so it's the same time. And that's what we wanted to do intentionally to make it easier for everyone, is to keep it that 10 a.m. time frame. And it is going to be all virtual. So there's really no excuse. We can all do it from wherever we are. We can hop on. We just need internet and can do an hour and a half a week.
I'm curious, as far as any of you guys, any of the 30 people that are online, do any of you already have a coach or a accountability partner? I guess not.
Hadi, I have a BIC.
Well, that's true. That's true. So this is really something that, again, I hear a lot of. We were talking. We had a thing. Have a meeting in Asheville. We had a virtual meeting in with the Asheville office, and I actually there are a lot of people that don't know they're busy, and they don't have a way that they can figure how to separate work from their life. You know, you got to have both. You can't have one without the other. And I think that's another thing. You don't want to be, especially if you have young kids, you got to be able to balance your life. And I think this is another thing that will help you with that. So again, when I was doing real estate, I never had that opportunity. Back then, there were nothing available for me to do. So I had to learn it by myself, pretty much. And coaching, you know, some of us are used to maybe have somebody one-on-one sitting down with. Unfortunately, today with the social distancing, we can't do that, you know, and I don't know how long this is going to be. And so this is the next best thing we can do. And with the Brian Buffini thing that I used to do, it has to be the first week, it was every day for 2 hours. And then after that, every week for 2 hours. And you had to actually come to the office. And I love this program because you're there, but you don't have to get up and drive somewhere. But again, I've talked to a lot of people. The first time I heard about this was 2 years ago. And I've talked to a lot of people across the country that are using this system. And I can tell you, nobody has said that, no, they don't like it. Everybody has improved their business. Everybody has improved, if they have a team, their team production. So I highly recommend it, because I know a lot of people spend lots of money buying leads, and you know, and this is the cost of this is really minimal compared to what you could spend, and the return on investment is huge. I promise you. Again, this is something that I feel like would help all the agents, but again, we can only do so many. So the first go around, we can only do 50 people. We cannot add more than 50. So out of 400 agents we have, we can do 50 of them. So, and then we have another session after that. So that's why I think it's important, if you guys want to improve your business and you want to kind of balance your life, this is an awesome way to do it.
And I fully speak from experience that is a huge part of how I've been able to get to where I am today. And not that I still have many goals and desires to continue to grow, which is why I'm still in coaching and fully have dove into the systems and processes. I mean, it's pretty great, the information that you have. And if nothing else, I mean, I know Candy said she's been going through some of the programs and such, but all the attachments that are included in the videos and everything, it's pretty amazing what's at your fingertips. So Jackie had a question: how many hours of videos are there each week before the weekly meeting? It ranges, all the videos. I mean, some are 3 minutes, and I think the most is maybe 15 minutes. And so there's a handful each week that we'll watch. I don't think it's not going to be any more than, I would say, an hour of videos a week.